When I started to do research to come over to Beijing, I knew that I would need a mask. For those of you who are either newly coming to China or going somewhere in the world where you need to think about the air quality, I would like to explain the different ways that we measure the air quality and what the different particles are like. The first thing that every foreigner has to do when they come to China for the first time is to download Air Matters app or some kind of equivalent so that they can check the air quality. This app is super helpful about telling you whether or not breathing the air that day will give you cancer. You can look at an hourly update, and you can also look ahead and see the forecast for that week. It's kind of like checking the weather, but for your lungs. In this video, I thought I would get into what some of the numbers mean on that app. PM10, these are more like the air particles that God intended us to have. They're kind of the natural ones. If a volcano goes off, the PM10 is gonna go up. If there is a sandstorm, the PM10 will get higher. However, coal power plants will also spike up the PM10, so that is not a blanket, it's all natural particles. If it's really high, you shouldn't breathe it in. Like, you shouldn't be breathing bad air into your lungs, regardless of what's causing it. I'm pretty sure people died from breathing in volcano stuff before, so don't do that. So I'm not saying it's cool, breathe it in, okay? But they're not like the major ones that you need to be concerned about. Definitely check it, and if the PM10 is above 200, you should usually wear a mask. Pollen will also make the PM10 go up, and it's funny because you will see a lot more local people wearing masks when the pollen is bad, and pollen is not going to cause cancer. So it's really interesting what will and will not motivate people to put on that mask. PM 2.5. This is what most people monitor. This is the really bad, gonna make you do a cancer. Technically, the PM 2.5 is bad for you when it's above 50, okay? The problem is that it's above 50 so often over here that people don't usually wear a mask unless it's above like 250. I understand that people get jaded from wearing a mask every time it's above 50. So the issue with only wearing the mask if it's above 250 is that that's technically hazardous levels. So that's like really bad for you at that point. So you should definitely be wearing a mask before that. When it's around 200, a lot of schools will not let kids go outside, but still that's already pretty high. Like 150, kids should probably not be going outside. But in that case, they wouldn't get to go outside very much. So it's kind of a trade-off with life, like what are you willing to risk, I guess. The stuff that causes a high PM 2.5 is typically manufacturing. Cars do play a role, but even though there's a lot of cars on the road, manufacturing is producing a lot more than the cars are. Let's talk a little bit about the less talked about particles. O3 is ground level ozone. This is not to be confused with atmospheric ozone. It is different. However, you will notice that this ozone will get higher on sunnier days. O3 is caused by smog interacting with the sunlight. O3 is super bad for you. It is very, very not good. 不好. If you see the O3 is over 350, you should definitely wear a mask. NO2 is nitrogen dioxide. And there you go. That's all you need to know, really. Nitrogen dioxide, like everyone knows about that, okay? Moving on. Just kidding. Basically, NO2, you don't really need to worry about unless it gets over 700. The nitrogen dioxide is usually caused by heating, power generation, and vehicles. So, fun fact for you. You only really need to worry about it if it's above 700. And I've not seen it do that, but, you know, it's a thing. Just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. It's just another thing to worry about, you know? You just need to, like, make a list of all the things to worry about. You know, it makes you feel better. Alright, carbon monoxide. That is CO. We have heard of carbon monoxide, right, people? It's that thing that is colorless and odorless and lives in your basement. Wait. Anyway, carbon monoxide is, of course, bad for you. Yeah, it can, like, kill you. You really be dead. Usually that number is pretty low. What you're gonna get is like an average reading for the city. The Air Matters app is not going to tell you how much carbon monoxide is in your apartment. So if that's something that you're worried about, then you can get a carbon monoxide detector for your specific location. Air Matters ain't gonna help you with that. I haven't seen that get high the whole time I've been in Beijing. It's only really serious if it's above 15,000. The things that would make this go up, like in the whole city, would be something like a forest fire or a volcanic eruption, and like big things like that might make the carbon monoxide go up. It's usually only going to be caused when there's like major fires, because then there isn't enough oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, so then you're going to get your carbon monoxide. Definitely didn't just learn that for this video. All right, moving on. SO2. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is made from burning fossil fuels and smelting ores. So in Minecraft, when you're smelting that iron, you are creating some sulfur dioxide, and you might want to check your AQI. Sulfur dioxide has a strong smell, so when it is high, you might actually be able to smell it. In Beijing, I haven't typically seen this number go up specifically, but it is of concern if it's above 500. The Air Matters app is pretty great, and it'll track all of these things, and then it will kind of give you an average, and that's what most people look at, is what that average score is. So Air Matters is free, by the way, and they are not sponsoring this. But they're welcome to. But it's free, so they're probably not going to. But anyway, it's not the only app that does this. The local government in your area will probably have an app. I think there's a Chinese one. Like, there's lots of apps you can use in whatever your native language is or whatever. This is just the one I use. But sometimes you might want to consider what's causing that average score. Is it that the pollution is really high, or is it that there's a sandstorm? Typically, a bad air day is going to be above 250. I do think that the air quality is one of the contributing factors that is making me want to consider moving back to the US. There are several, but in the end, I'm glad I came here. As always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye!